Cheers, little champions. How are you all? I hope everyone who is watching this video is doing absolutely good. And I hope that everyone already got the good news that is about the KCET one-shot videos. So we would be publishing it soon. Like for different subjects, it has been already published. For mine, it will be published really soon. So do not be worried. I saw a lot of you saying, Jasmine is not there. Then how will I ask the question? Well, basically, you can still ask me the question. Put down your questions in the comment section, okay? And I'll answer each of you. So today we are here for something really important, and that is for decoding your NCERT, because we have a very important chapter which is evolution that gives you 7 marks in your PU2 board examination. So do you want to miss it? No. So we are going to see what is very much important and what is that something that you should definitely not miss while going through this particular chapter. This session is going to be really important. So take out your NCERT, pull out a sticky note, and whenever I'm saying that this is very important from here, anyway question will come, put a star mark over there. Just write this in the sticky note. From Convergent and Homologous organs, you will be getting one question or whatever. Okay, I just randomly said something. Do not take it to the heart. Okay, so let's get into it. So my dear children, for the front part of your NCERT, you can just give a quick read to all this thing. Okay, from here comes something that is important. So over here, they have explained about the Big Bang theory. So the questions not usually come from the Big Bang theory, but why I'm asking you to study this is that you might not understand. All of a sudden, if I say that this paragraph is important, you might not be able to link it, which is why I'm saying study about the Big Bang theory. Over here it said that how did the galaxy and how did the universe and everything came, okay? And then what was there in the primitive universe? Okay, so there was no atmosphere on early Earth. Water vapor, methane, carbon dioxide, ammonia released from the molten mass covered the surface. Okay, so you should be knowing that these were the things which were already there. What? Water vapor, methane, carbon dioxide and ammonia. From wherever it released, it was released from the molten mass which was covering the entire surface. Now what happened? The UV rays from the sun broke up the water into hydrogen and oxygen. So the UV rays which were there, it broke the H2O into what? Hydrogen and oxygen, and the lighter H2, that is hydrogen gas, it escaped. Oxygen then combined with ammonia and methane to form water, CO2 and others. So basically you might say water vapor is already there, then why do you need water? Chai, we need lots of water, right? We need to make sea, oceans, lot of things. So obviously this oxygen which is there, it will combine, okay? Oxygen, it was not there primitively. It was totally, if you see, only water vapor, methane, carbon dioxide and ammonia was there. There was no oxygen. It was a totally anaerobic condition. There was no oxygen in there. But what happened? The UV rays fell on the water vapor. It basically broke down the water into hydrogen and oxygen. Hydrogen, some of it escaped, okay? And the oxygen which was there, it went and combined with ammonia. It went and combined with methane and things like that to produce more water, CO2 and other compounds. Now, the ozone layer was also formed after that. As it cooled, the water vapor fell as rain to fill on the depression and form the oceans. So all this thing happened initially, so you should be knowing about the primitive earth. It will be really important for you to know about this when you are going to study about the chemical evolution of earth. According to which it says that there were certain inorganic things, okay? There were certain inorganic things, and these inorganic things combined in certain, let's say, conditions, for example, high temperature, anaerobic condition, and formed what? Organic compounds. So if you are not aware about this, you won't be able to answer it. Now over here in this particular paragraph also different people came in and said that this is how origin of life happened, or this is how origin of life happened. So Louis Pasteur's experiment is mentioned over here, okay? Certain early Greek thinkers, they also thought that spores were there, okay? And these spores, they flew down from somewhere, and that's how the life arose. That's what they thought, okay? Some others thought that the decaying matter which was there, from there the living organisms, because they saw that some rotten things were kept, and from there the mouse and everything were coming out. So they thought, oh, from this rotten mass this mouse had come out. So those were the theories that were put down, but at last, what was accepted? The accepted one was this one. Okay, so Oparin of Russia and Haldane of England, they proposed the first form of life could have come from pre-existing non-living organic molecules. What did they say? They said that the life which you see today have come from pre-existing. That means it was already there. Non-living organic molecules. Non-living as in it's not living. They are just organic molecules. What do you mean by organic molecules? Something that has the carbon-hydrogen bond, something that has the carbon-carbon bond between them. Those are organic molecules. So they said that life came from this pre-existing, already present, non-living organic molecules. Now the question is, where did you get the organic molecules from? So to prove all this thing came the other guy whose name was S.L. Miller. Okay, whose name was S.L. Miller. So in 1953, he did an experiment. So let's read all this thing, okay. So they said the life could have come from pre-existing non-living organic molecules, and that formation of life was preceded by chemical evolution, that is formation of diverse organic molecules from inorganic constituents. So directly they didn't say about inorganic things coming together and making organic. They directly said that all this thing that you see today is coming from organic molecule. They didn't say where did the organic molecule come from. Later they said that yes, organic molecule has also come from inorganic things, my dear children. This is chemical evolution. So to prove this, who came into this picture? S.L. Miller came into the picture. He said that the conditions on Earth were high temperature, volcanic storm, reducing atmosphere, containing methane, ammonia, etc. And with this, he did his experiment. He created an electric discharge in a closed flask containing all these gases which were there and water vapor, and he put it at what degree Celsius? 800 degrees Celsius. Please note all this very crucial things, okay? 800 degrees Celsius, that much hotness is there, okay? Now he observed formation of amino acid, that is the organic compound. These were the inorganic things, okay? Now you're getting the organic thing. What is that? Amino acids, my dear children. And amino acids later he just saw it's not just amino acid that was formed, it was also nucleotides and things like that. Nucleotides, you know, they form the RNA, DNA and things like that. Amino acids, they come together to form the proteins. So all these two things came together. Get it? And that's how everything happened. That is what S.L. Miller and Oparin and Haldane and everyone said. So Oparin and Haldane were the people who gave this theory, and to prove this, who came into the picture? S.L. Miller. And now you were asked this question. With the help of a neat label diagram, explain Stanley Miller's experiment in support of chemical evolution. So you should be knowing about the diagram. So how will you know about the diagram? You have to see this picture. So I have to zoom it less. Yes. So this picture is really important, which is why I marked it. Diagrammatic representation of Miller's experiment is really important. The gases which are there, that is methane, ammonia, H2, that is in the form of vapor, and H2. So water is here. The boiling water will be releasing water vapor. Okay, and what happens here? You are giving high temperature with the help of electrodes, that is 800 degrees Celsius, and this is a closed setup, so there is no oxygen. This is a reducing setup that is there. Okay, now at this point of time, a lot of things will be formed, and all the things which are formed are trapped over here. The organic things, okay, like amino acid, nucleotides, everything are trapped over here. Okay, now with the help of a neat label, as I said, it's already asked, that type of question definitely comes, so go through it. Now, all the life forms were in water environment only. This version of biogenesis, that is first form of life, arose slowly through evolutionary forces from non-living molecules, is accepted by majority. So this is now accepted by majority of the people. Okay, now what is important? So all this thing again you have to read. Without reading nothing happens. Now over here there are certain evidences of evolution, my dear children. So they can ask you what are the evidences of evolution. The first evidence is basically dependent on the fossils. So you know fossils, they stay in our environment for a very long time. Okay, the dead remains which just remains like that. So what happens if we check through the fossils? If we go through the different soil layers, we will find that, oh my god, the fossils are dinosaurs are found in this particular soil layer. That means they might have been there in this particular era. Now if you go deep down, you might find fossils of something else. That means these organisms were there first, and from them came the dinosaurs, and from them came us. So that's how you understand evolution. So these are the evidences of evolution that probably we might have evolved from all these organisms that you see through. So just go through this as a first thing. Okay, fossils are the first evidence of evolution. Second thing is embryological support for evolution, my dear children. It was given by Ernst Haeckel. It was given by Ernst Haeckel, and the person who is going to go against it was also Ernst. His name was Karl Ernst von Baer. So Ernst Haeckel was the person who said that there is embryological evidences as well. How basically what happens is that whenever a human being is formed, it has stages of embryo, right? Do you know that we also have slits? Okay, we also have slits, we also have tail during our embryo formation. Later we come and look like human beings at the end of the journey. So probably that means that we might have evolved from all these organisms, which is why we are getting their features throughout our embryo development. That was said by Ernst Haeckel. Okay, this is what an evidence that evolution might have happened like this. So Haeckel, based upon the observation of certain features during embryonic stage common to all vertebrates that are absent in adult. Okay, he said that basically we all organisms have the same embryonic stages, but it is not found in the adult stage. For example, the embryos of all the vertebrates including human develop a row of vestigial gill slit just behind the head, but it is a functional organ only in fish. Now this is a functional organ in fish. Do you do anything with the slits that are present in there? No. Okay, now, and not found in any other adult vertebrates. So this is not found in any other adult vertebrates, but it's there in the embryonic development. However, this proposal was disapproved on careful study performed by Karl Ernst von Baer. This was disapproved. Okay, he noted that embryos never passes through the adult stages of other animals. Okay, he said that in that case, the embryo should be also passing to the adult stages of other animals, right? But this is not happening. Anyways, okay, so fishes are there. Okay, fish's gill slit is there, tails or some other organism is there. But not all the organisms embryo, you're not developing it in their body, right? So you have fishes, and then you have amphibians, and then you have reptiles, and then you have apes, and then you have mammals. Not all the organisms embryos thing you're seeing in your body when you're developing, right? So this is something that cannot be approved, is what was said by Karl Ernst von Baer. But this was an embryo. This was also an evidence which was mentioned below. So basically you have to remember it. So fossil is an evidence, and embryological support, that is embryological evolution, or the stages of embryonic development also sets as an evidence for the support of evolution. I know I am doing jabba at times because I am making it really fast. I don't want this Decode NCERT series to take up a lot of your time. Okay. No. Yes. Now, here comes the most important part of this particular chapter. Okay, why I am telling the most important? Because so many questions have come and you have to know this. My dear children, so if you talk about whales, if you talk about bat, if you talk about cheetah, if you talk about human beings, all of us, we are mammals. Cool, we all are mammals. And if you see, we are all different organisms. Okay, whales are in the water, bats are in the air, cheetah is in the ground running around, humans are just a totally different thing. But the four limbs as in this, okay, four limbs of all organism that I just mentioned over here, the bones which are there, they're all the same. We all have radius, we all have ulna, we all have carpals, we have metacarpals, we have phalanges, everything. The structures, the arrangement might be different, a bit different, but we all have this in common. So what do you understand from this? Probably we all might have evolved from a common ancestor, my dear children. But because we are put in different habitat, we have evolved differently. That is why the functions of four limbs are different in different organisms. Bats, they basically fly around with it. Whales, they swim around with it. Cheetah, they run around with it. We eat around with it. So if you see, we have a common ancestor. Listen to me carefully. We have a common ancestor, but we all have different functions for this. We have same structure. Okay, common ancestor, common structure, but different function. Common structure, different function, that means you are talking about homologous organs. Okay, this is an example of homologous organs, and this type of evolution where we are evolving in different types. Okay, we are doing different stuff with the common thing that we have. This is known as divergent evolution, my dear children. Please remember. So these four limbs perform different function in these animals. They have similar anatomical structure. The structure is same. Okay, and we have the common ancestor as well. So hence in these animals, the same structure developed along different directions due to adaptations to different needs. This is divergent evolution, and these structures are homologous organs. Homology indicates common ancestry. Other examples are vertebrate hearts or brains. In vertebrate hearts and brains also, we all have the same structure, but still we have evolved differently, which is why there might be certain differences. Okay, now in the capacity and things like that. Now, there is example in the case of plants. The thorn and the tendrils of bougainvillea and cucurbita represent homology. So, what happens in the thorn and the tendril, my dear children? So, in bougainvillea, you have the thorns. They arise from axillary bud. Okay, there's a bud over here which arise and basically turns into a thorn. But in the case of tendril, the same axillary bud gives rise to, in the case of cucurbita, the same axillary bud which is there, it will give rise to a tendril. So same structure is there, anatomically if it's same, but the function, if you see, both are doing different functions. So this is an example of what? Homologous organs, and this shows divergent evolution. They are moving into different opposite directions, they are evolving differently because they are into different habitats, my dear children. Okay, cool, works? Chalo. Now, wings of butterfly and birds look alike. If you see wings of butterfly and the birds, both of them, they are flying, they are having wings. But my dear children, do you think the structure is same? No, the wings of the butterfly will have bone, we will have all the feathers and do things like that. Sorry, not the butterfly, the bird, okay? And what about the butterfly? Butterfly's wing, if we just touch it like this, it will break. So the structure is totally different. Now I am talking about something else. There is no common structure, there is different structure. But what about the function? Both of it are using their wings for what? For flying, right? So different structure is there, okay, but common function is there. And bird and butterfly, not a common ancestry for sure. Okay, it's an insect, it's a bird. It comes under vertebrate. This is invertebrate, this is a vertebrate. So totally, it's a totally different thing. Okay. So my dear children, what do you see? This is convergent evolution. This is not divergent evolution. This is convergent evolution, where organisms are converging into the same point because they are in the same habitat. Butterfly and birds are flying. They are in the same habitat, that is air, which is why they have common function. So different structures have evolved in a way that they have common functions, and this is known as convergent evolution. Always remember, if you're talking about same function, it is convergent evolution. And these organs are known as analogous organs. Okay, AC, I remember like that. AC, you need AC. Okay, so you can remember like that as well. Do not write, usually, why did I say AC? Because people get confused between homologous and, divergent. Okay, they say that homologous organs are there and they are showing convergent evolution. No. Okay, it's not HC, please remember, it is AC and HD. So HD view is there. Okay, homologous and divergent, and convergent and analogous organs are there. Now, other examples are also there. The eye of the octopus and the mammals. The eye of the octopus and the mammals, both are there for seeing things, but the structure is totally different and they do not have a common ancestry. Again, convergent evolution. The flippers of penguins and dolphin. My dear children, the flippers of penguin, which is a bird, dolphin is a mammal, okay, but both of them, they have flipper. The structure is totally different, but they're using it for the same purpose, that is for swimming. You get it? So all this thing, wherever you see, the functions are same, my dear children. Even if you do not know the animal's name, okay, saying flippers of penguin and dolphin, that means both of them are having flippers. That means both of them will be utilizing it for the common function as well. So they are examples of convergent evolution. Now there is one more very, very important example. Sweet potato and potato. If you know, you know. Basically what happens, the stem of the potato plant, okay, suppose this is the sand layer. Okay, the stem is there above this. The stem will grow into the soil and here it will make a bulge. Okay, it will store all the things. This is known as a potato, the thing that you get. So over here you call this as a stem tuber. What do you call this? Stem tuber, where the stem is getting underground and growing inside. Okay. Now, if you talk about sweet potato, my dear children, the stem is intact over there. The roots which are coming, the roots, some of them will be bulging out like this, and the roots are known as sweet potato. The bulge roots, you call this as root tuber, my dear children. So, sweet potato is a root modification, potato is a stem modification. So both of them, they are having entirely different structures. One is root, one is shoot, but the function, if you see, is the same. They are storing starch, my dear children. So this is again an example of this, and this question has been repeated so many times. Potato tubers and sweet potato tubers, okay, are the result of convergent evolution. Justify the statement. You have to tell about that. What is convergent evolution? Where basically you have what? You have different organism, okay, staying in the same habitat or probably doing the same function but having different structure, not sharing a common ancestry. This is known as convergent evolution. And the organs which are there, they are known as analogous organs. So you say potato is what? A stem modification. Okay, sweet potato is what? Or a root modification. Both of them do not have a common structure, but they have a common function of storing what? Starch. That's how you will be justifying the statement. So go through all these pictures, really important pictures are there. Okay. Now comes the next thing that is about the moth. Okay, have you heard about the moth? So in England, my dear children, there were different things happening. Okay, industrialization, post-industrialization, lot of things were happening. So before industrialization, my dear children, what happened? The plants and all, the trees which were there, they had something growing on them which is known as lichen. Lichen is a combination of what? Algae and fungi. Okay, it is a combination of algae and fungi. So this lichen is found only in areas where there is no pollution. Always remember, this lichen is there where there is no pollution, and lichen is basically giving a white texture to the plants, trees, branches and things like that. So remember, the background is white because of the lichen. At this point of time, you have two moth. Okay, you have two moth. One is the dark winged moth, or you call it melanized moth, and the other one was white winged moth. Okay, white winged moth. So the white one, basically if it went and stood in that background, none of the predators were able to see them, and basically they were all safe. But what about the black one? Black one, when they were coming and sitting on the plant and the white background, obviously they were visible and they were being eaten up. This was happening before industrialization era, my dear children. Okay, first question that you should be having, how did I get dark winged and white winged moth? Basically it happened because of some mutation. Okay, there were certain mutations in their genetic material, which is why they appear to be different. They were obviously same organism, but they evolved into different organisms, okay, because of certain mutation. Now, I am going to tell you what is the use of this mutation. Okay, so initially the white ones were surviving, but what happened after the industrialization era? At this point of time, there was a lot of pollution, and in this pollution, obviously the lichen would not be surviving, because lichen is a pollution indicator. It won't be surviving in areas like that. Okay, so now you have a normal dark background. At this point of time, if the white moth came and sit on the plant, okay, obviously sat on the plant, obviously it would be seen by the predator and it will be eaten up. But what about the black one? Black one was able to camouflage, it was not being seen. So now who was surviving better? It was the black one that was surviving better. So mutations are really helpful. Suppose there was no mutation, all of them were white all together every time, then do you think that this particular species of moth will be surviving? No, my dear children, because there was some mutation, and this mutation was there in some amount of organisms in their population, which is why they survived. I get it? Now the question comes like this. Replacement of lighter colored variety of peppered moth, that is Biston betullaria. Okay, this is the light variety, to its darker variety, that is Biston carbonaria, in England, is an example of what? Natural selection, regeneration, genetic isolation, genetic drift. It is natural selection. Nature selected it. We did not do anything. Nature selected the organism, and this is known as natural selection, my dear children. Okay, and the pollution was there, it was seen, the white one was, pollution was there, the white one was seen. When pollution was not there, the white one was not seen, even though it's because of our activities, okay, that this pollution and everything happened, but it's the nature that is selecting. It's not us that is selecting. We did not say that black one can only survive. Get it? So this is an example of natural selection. This is how questions can be framed. Lot of questions can be framed. Just go through this particular thing. This is the white one, this is the black one. It was able to camouflage, it was over here, it was not. So just go through this, and over here I have put very important question. Which of the following is used as an industrial pollution indicator? It is not indicated, it is indicator. Is it Lepidoptera, lichens, Lycopersicon, Lycopodium? We don't know all this thing, it's just lichens. Okay, and it is mentioned over here. It is mentioned over here. Do you know that lichens can be used as industrial pollution indicators? Now, if you miss out one particular statement from this point, don't you think you're going to lose mark? So that is why I am saying, please go through all this thing. Very, very important points are being put up here. Okay, so just go through, read it out completely. Now coming ahead, talking about adaptive radiation. Now that is about Darwin. So you should be knowing about Darwin's finches. And what is adaptive radiation, my dear children? So adaptive radiation is where an organism species is there, and it is found in a geographical area. Please remember, geographical area comes, that means you're talking about adaptive radiation. So in one particular geographical area, the organisms which are there, they are moving into different habitats. They are moving into different areas within the geographical area. Now what is happening? In different habitats, different things will be there, and they will be evolving according to it. For example, there are finches, Darwin's finches. Okay, he went to Galapagos Island and he found finches. We call them Darwin's finches. Okay, now what happened was, certain finches which went that particular area, okay, and that particular area was having so many insects. So these guys, okay, these finches who had the beak for eating the insect, they survived over there, they reproduced over there, and they made lots of their kind. Now over here, some finches went to that particular direction where there were grasses. So those finches which has the beak for feeding on the grass, they went up there, they reproduced and they made their own bunch over there. Get it? So how did you get the beaks, different beaks? Again, mutation happened. Mutation might have happened, but when they went there, they were able to survive better over there. So this process of evolution of different species in a given geographical area, starting from a point and literally radiating to other areas of geography, is known as adaptive radiation, my dear children. Darwin's finches represent one of the best examples of this phenomenon. Another example is Australian marsupials, very, very important example. So it's not just Darwin's finches that comes in example, it is also what? Australian marsupials. So you have two types of marsupials, my dear children. One is Australian marsupials and one is placental mammals. Okay, so I'll tell about that. So basically, when more than one adaptive radiation appeared to have occurred in an isolated geographical area, over here the marsupials were there, right? So in middle you had lots of marsupials. Now these marsupials which are there, it moved out to different habitat within the same geographical area, and now you have Tasmanian wolf, you have tiger cat, you have banded anteater, marsupial rat, this and that. So many things arose from a common ancestor which was over here, my dear children, and this was happening in the Australian island. Okay, what are those organisms? They are Australian marsupials. But along with them, there were other organisms also which was radiating and moving around to different areas. And do you know who are they? They are the placental mammals. Again, it has gone. Oh my dear God. No, it will come. Okay, so you had placental mammals as well. So over here you see two organisms, okay, two different set of organisms are radiating to different habitat, and they are having same functions over there. So just like Tasmanian wolf, there will be another organism belonging to the placental mammal category. So over here you see they do not have a common ancestor. They are moving to a common habitat and they are having common functions. Okay, because they are in a habitat, in a common habitat, so obviously they will have a common function as well. So what is this evolution? Convergent or divergent? What do you call this type of evolution as? Convergent or divergent evolution? My dear children, it will be known as convergent evolution because they are all converging to the same direction and basically they are having the same habitat, okay, and they are evolving to have same functions as well, even though they are not related to each other. So it's about the marsupial, Australian marsupials which are there over here. Apart from that, there are placental mammals also which are evolved into different areas like this, and this is an example of adaptive radiation. Both of them, they are examples of adaptive radiation. So in total, how many examples do you have of adaptive radiation? 3. One is the finches, other is the Australian marsupial, and the other one is what? The placental mammals that you are having over here. And somehow, I don't know why, it is not getting loaded. As I was saying, the placental mammals which are there, look, over here, the mole is there, and then Australian mole, there will be marsupial mole over here. For here, you have numbat, you have another anteater from placental mammals. All of them, basically, if you see, they have almost same structures, but they have evolved from different organisms. Okay, there is a different ancestor over there, but they have evolved into the same habitat, and when they are in the same habitat, obviously they will be having certain common function. So this is an example of convergent evolution again. What is example? Australian mammals and Australian marsupials and the placental mammals. Now if you go deep, okay, if you go to the next thing that which is there over here, just go through all this thing. Over here you have Lamarck, who said that the evolution of life forms has occurred but driven by use and disuse of things. For example, he said that giraffe, basically they have long neck because they used it to take the food from above. Okay, and the one which had shorter neck, they just went off. Okay, because with the help of this big neck, they were able to survive. So you get it? So different theories were there for evolution and things like that. You should be knowing about each of this. And then comes something important which actually meant sense. And that was Hugo de Vries thing. Okay, so Hugo de Vries, based on his experiment on evening primrose, okay, he said that larger differences arising suddenly in a population is because of mutations, my dear children. Okay, the mutations which are there, that was responsible for the larger differences that was arising in the population. He believed that mutation which causes evolution and not the minor variation that Darwin talked about. So Darwin always talked about this minor small variation, my dear children. But Hugo de Vries came and said that it's not small variation that matters, it's basically mutations. Okay, and mutations are not giving rise to smaller variations. It can also give rise to large differences, and these differences would be giving rise to what? Evolution that is happening over there. Okay, so evolution of Darwin was gradual, while De Vries believed that mutation caused speciation and hence called it saltation, a single step large mutation. So according to Darwin, he said that it's a very gradual process that is there, evolution. But De Vries came and said that mutations happen and this can give rise to a huge change, and this can give rise to a variety of species all of a sudden, and this is known as what? Saltation, a single step large mutation, my dear children. Okay, there are some mutations which are like that. That's what Hugo De Vries said. Now going ahead with the Hardy-Weinberg principle, again something very important, something that is usually being asked. Okay, what does this principle says? It says that the allelic frequency in a population are stable and is constant from generation to generation. So the allelic frequency, whatever you are having, whatever differences that you are having, it's always going to be the same generation after generation. That is, generation in my generation, my kids' generation, and their kids' generation also, it will be the same. But do you think it can be possible? Do you think the allelic frequency, all the characters will be same throughout generations, my dear children? No. There are changes that is going to happen. Now this is known as what? Genetic equilibrium according to Hardy-Weinberg, and sum total of all the allelic frequencies is 1. That is what Hardy-Weinberg said. So your questions might be coming like, state Hardy-Weinberg principle, explain any 4 factors affecting Hardy-Weinberg principle. So there are so many factors affecting what? Hardy-Weinberg principle. What are those factors? I'll tell you. So basically, over here it is mentioned, the factors are genetic drift, gene flow, mutation, genetic recombination and natural selection. You should be knowing about all of them. What do you mean by gene flow? Gene flow is basically, for example, I am in Australia. Okay, in Australia, human beings are there. There is India. From Australian population, if I go to India, my dear children, there the frequency of alleles will be changed. The characters of organisms which are there will be getting changed because I am getting inside there. An organism from there can come here also and can bring about changes here as well. Okay, so this is known as gene flow, my dear children. What do you mean by genetic drift? Genetic drift as in, for example, I had a population of beetles. Okay, there were white ones and there were green ones. There were white ones and the green ones. The green ones were in a huge amount. And now what happened? Basically, an elephant came and stamped over this. Okay, they stamped over the green ones unknowingly. The white ones survived. Now don't you think the population, the whole allelic frequency over there is disturbed? Now you have more white beetles rather than green ones. So this is known as genetic drift. Again, it is not in equilibrium. Things are going to get changed. Mutation, you know, a single mutation can bring about lots of variations. So obviously, it is one big reason. Apart from that, genetic recombination. So in sexual reproduction and everything like that, what happens? The chromosomes which are there, they are going to recombine, they are going to change their genetic material within each other. Obviously giving rise to new type of alleles. Okay, or not new type of alleles, basically new type of characters. Again, this is going to bring out certain changes. And now you have natural selection. Again, as I said about the white moth and the black moth. The white one was able to survive first, okay, initially, but then after industrialization, the black one is able to survive. Now, this is an example of natural selection, my dear children. Again, the allelic frequency is getting changed. So, all these things are the factors that basically says that Hardy-Weinberg principle, whatever it is there, it is not true. There are so many things that can change the equilibrium. Okay. Now, according to Hardy-Weinberg principle, he actually stated that this P plus Q whole square is equals to P square plus 2PQ plus Q square represent an equation used in what? So, this is an equation used in population genetics, my dear children. Okay, it is used in population genetics. When you are studying about the population and the genetics, use this equation. Okay, where P is what? So, the probability that an allele A with frequency of P appear on both the chromosomes of a diploid is simply the product of the probabilities P square. Okay, now if you are confused, I will just tell you. So, if I say that there is an allele A, okay, there is an allele A. Now, the frequency of this particular allele A is being denoted by small p. Okay. Now, what is the frequency of a combination to come like this? A. So, it will be what? P square, my dear children. So, the dominant one are being expressed by P. Now, there is Q also. Q will be what? Q is basically A. Now, Q square is what? Whenever the combination is AA, it is Q square. IU. Yes. No, just a second. Okay. Just give me a second. I did something. I messed up something. So, this is important. Please don't miss it. Okay, from here to here, I cannot color the whole thing because there is some glitch. But please understand, from here to here, it is very, 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 very important. Okay, or I can just mark like this. Fine. Now, if I go above, this thing is the one that I was saying. So Q square is basically whenever the combination, both the alleles are A and A, small a both are coming, that means you are representing it by Q square. Okay, both alleles A and A are coming together, you are representing it by P square, my dear children. Now what is PQ? PQ is basically a combination of this. PQ is a combination of what? Ayyo. It's a combination of A and A. This is P and this is Q. You get it? So an equation has been put up like this. This P plus Q whole square, where P square basically you're talking about organisms having AA plus 2PQ as an organism having what? Small a, capital A, and then Q square as in the organisms having what? AA. This is what you are representing. Now if you are not understanding this, I would request you all to watch the questions that I have done from this particular chapter. You will be able to understand. I'm not able to make you understand over here because this is a short duration thing, right? And over here I'm just to tell you what is important. But still I tried okay, but I know you might not be able to understand, which is why I'm saying go watch the Brahmastra series evolution part. Okay, you will be able to understand it, and you have to solve a lot of questions in there as well. Cool. So let's move forward now. So at a particular locus, the frequency of allele A, capital A, is 0.6. That means you're talking about P value. You're talking about P value because it is capital allele A, right? And now the allele, that of allele small a is 0.4. That means you're talking about Q. What would be the frequency of heterozygotes in a random mating population at equilibrium? You're talking about heterozygotes, my dear children. So how do you find heterozygotes? Heterozygotes means alleles have to be different. It should be capital A and small a. So 2PQ is the equation for that. So 2 into 0.6 into 0.4 is the answer for this particular question. That's how you need to find out. But if you're not aware about the equation and all this, will you be able to find this out? No. Now this is a model question paper question, so you need to know this. Okay, there is no chance that you can miss it out. Now over here, a sketch of evolution of plant forms through geological periods. Over here, you should be knowing about these periods: Quaternary, Tertiary, Cretaceous, Jurassic, Triassic, Permian, Carboniferous, Devonian, Silurian. All those things in order you should be knowing about that. So identify the correct arrangement of periods of Paleozoic era in ascending order in the geological time scale. So you should be knowing this is ascending order. So Silurian comes first, then Devonian, then Carboniferous, then Permian. So this is the answer for this. Now if you're not aware about this, you won't be knowing the answer as well. You get it? So please go through this particular thing. Now if I'm not telling you this is important, I am pretty sure you are going to miss this as well. So please be sure about all this thing. It's very, very important. Just go through it. Okay, just have a quick read of all this thing. But this thing, obviously, you have to remember it. Cool? Now over here, there's a last statement in this particular page. Okay, so in 1938, a fish caught in South Africa happened to be coelacanth, okay, which was thought to be extinct. So fish was found, okay, it was said to be, what's a coelacanth, actually it is known as lobfin. Okay, it's lobfish. So basically these animals called lobfins evolved into what? Evolved into the first amphibian, my dear children. Okay, the first amphibians that lives both on land and water. There are no specimens of these left with us. However, these were the ancestors of modern day frogs and salamanders. So initially you had fishes, that is spices, and from them evolved the amphibians, and from them came the reptiles, from them came the aves, that is birds, and the mammals, my dear children. So what is the link between the fishes and the amphibians? This is the one, that is a link, that is the lobfins, my dear children. Please remember, it is really, really important. So a fish caught in South Africa happened to be coelacanth, which was thought to be extinct, my dear children. Okay, these animals called lobfins evolved into what? Evolved into the first amphibians that lived both on land as well as water. Please remember, the question always comes about lobfins, and also one thing, that is shrews. So mention the evolutionary significance of the following: shrews and lobfins. Lobfins I told you because it is acting as a link between what? The fishes and the amphibians, and from this organism only the modern day frogs and the salamanders have arose. Okay, now talking about shrews, the first mammals were like shrews. So they were the connecting link between the reptiles and the mammals. Okay, their fossils are small size, and from them probably the mammals and everything might have evolved. So the first mammal were like shrews. They were not shrews, were like shrews. So again, that is a connecting link between the reptiles and the mammals. Reptiles and the mammals. Just have it in your head. Cool. Now going ahead with this thing, the last thing, the origin and evolution of life, my dear, evolution of man. All the terms that are marked over here are really important. The order also you should know. First organisms which were there, Dryopithecus and Ramapithecus. So Dryopithecus had more ape-like features. Ramapithecus had more man-like features. Ram, you can remember like Lord Ram. Okay, he had man-like features. And after that, Okay, so the few fossils of man-like bones were discovered in Ethiopia and Tanzania. So this is the place in South Africa where all this thing were happening. These revealed hominid features, as in human-like features, leading to the belief that about 3 to 4 million years ago, man-like primates walked in Eastern Africa. They were probably not taller than 4 feet but walked upright. You're talking about the other organisms. 2 million years ago, Australopithecus probably lived in East African grasslands. Evidence show that they hunted with stones weapon but essentially ate food. So first thing, you should know Dryopithecus, they had ape-like features. Ramapithecus had man-like features. From them came Australopithecus, my dear children. Okay, from Australopithecus came the next organisms which were the first human-like features. They are known as Homo habilis. Okay, they are Homo habilis, and it's about them that it is said that they hunted with stone weapons but essentially ate fruit. So the first organism that came through did not have meat and all. They had what? They had fruit, my dear children, and they hunted with stone weapons. And they were known as Homo habilis. The brain capacities were between 650 to 800 cc. Should know about all their brain capacities. From Homo habilis, they have started talking about that. Now, fossils discovered in Java in 1891 revealed the next stage, that is Homo erectus. So from Homo habilis came Homo erectus about 1.5 million years ago. So this was 2 million years ago. This is 1.5 million years ago, my dear children, where what happened? This next stage, that is Homo erectus, was found. Homo erectus has a large brain size around 900 cc's. So here it was 650 to 800. Now it came 900 cc. That is, the cranial capacity has increased. Okay. Now what? Homo erectus probably ate meat. Now they started eating meat. Now from them came other organism, that is Neanderthal man. So Neanderthal man with a brain size of 1400 cc, okay, lived in East and near Central Asia between 1 lakh to 40,000 years back. So it's not about 1.5 million years now. It's about 1 lakh to 40,000 years back. They used hides to protect their body and buried their dead. These are the features of Neanderthal man. Now Homo sapiens also arose from them. So Homo erectus, actually they give rise to 2 organisms. One is Neanderthal man, but this Neanderthal man were found in East and Central Asia. So probably from Homo erectus, some organism went to Asia also. From Africa they went to Asia, and there they had these many features. Okay, they buried their dead, they protected their body and things like that. And the Homo erectus, which was still left behind, they were turning into Homo sapiens. They arose in Africa itself. They moved across continents and developed into distinct races. During Ice Age, between 75,000 to 10,000 years ago, modern Homo sapiens arose. Okay, the modern Homo sapiens that you see, they arose during this particular point of time. So you see Neanderthal man between 1 lakh to 40,000 years back, and this is between 75,000 to 10,000 years back. So almost they had shared some common time as well, but both of them were evolving separately. Okay, so but everyone basically gave rise to human beings at the end. Okay, the modern Homo sapiens, we are Homo sapiens. So we have evolved from all this thing. So you should be knowing about each of the, the sequence which is there. And how it is asked, write the salient features of the following human ancestors: Dryopithecus, Ramapithecus, Australopithecus, Neanderthal man, Homo habilis, Homo erectus. So for all of them you should be knowing certain features. Dryopithecus basically were having more ape-like features. Ramapithecus had man-like features. Australopithecus were the first thing that were found. Okay. Over here it is mentioned Australopithecus probably lived in East African grasslands, my dear children. From them came the next organism, which is Homo habilis. Homo habilis, they hunted with stones, okay, and they basically ate fruits only. From Homo habilis, which had the brain capacity of 650 to 800 cc, came Homo erectus, which had more brain capacity, this is 900 cc, and now they started eating what? Meat, my dear children. They started eating meat, and their fossils were found in Java. Okay, there's in different areas of China and things like that. Okay, they were found in Java, and from them, okay, again, as I said, Homo erectus, from them came the next organism, and they had Homo erectus, as in they stood in an erect manner, my dear children, and from them you got Neanderthal man as well as what? Homo sapiens as well. So all this piece of information is really, really important. I know there are chances that you might get confused with what I am saying, but it's okay to be confused. This video is just meant for you to understand what is important, and I hope I am able to deliver you that. About the questions that could be framed, about the answers that you have to frame by yourself, you have to see the video, that is Master Series Evolution chapter video. There I have mentioned all the important questions. I have explained in detail, so do not miss it. It's really, really, really important. Cool? Chalo. So that's all, my dear children, and with this we are ending this particular chapter, do let me know if you have any doubts in this particular chapter after watching the Brahmastra series. So do not judge just based on this, okay? I just told you what's important, I'm telling you again, but there is a lot more addition to it. When you see the questions, you will feel it's so easy chapter and so fun chapter. You should not be missing it. So definitely go and watch that. And if you have any queries, do let me know in the comment section. Yeah, and if you like the video, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to our little channel, that is Deeksha, Karnataka. So bye bye my dear children. Bye, take care.